the side, ref.
Okay. A lot to talk about, so let's kick it off, Matt. First game on Saturday morning, All Blacks versus France. We called it. We said after a indifferent showing in the first test that there's going to be a backlash from the All Blacks, and that's exactly what we got. They smashed the Frenchies.
Yeah, I think we said beware the wounded buffalo. If you look at it historically, whenever the All Blacks have a bad or not a great performance, not a bad performance, but like not a great performance, and there's scrutiny, they come out to silence their doubters, and they did that this last weekend.
Happens every time.
Yeah.
Now, they would have been disappointed in the first test with their performance. I mean, they still won, but against an underwhelming French side, and this was more the scoreline that you would expect against that caliber of opposition.
Yeah, I think last week the French side weren't underwhelming. They played with a kind of je ne sais quoi.
What did you say?
Je m'appelle.
Me poupou.
Typical French flair, right?
Yeah.
Where they were exciting and they ran with the ball in hand and they were everything that you didn't expect them to be based on all the evidence of what the media were saying. This was an underperforming, under-strength team. They'd left all their star players behind. And then this week, all of that came to fruition.
Yeah.
It was as if the French were like, we're going to tick that box and show you why all of what you expected us to be is what we are.
Yeah, but also I think in the first test, the All Blacks allowed them to play, and on Saturday they smothered them. Like France could not pull the phases together. They were just smothered, really, in defence.
I think my observation is that the French team played a very immature game. And it's been said that they're a young team. It's been said that they're sort of, big guns have been left at home. In the first game, they were none the wiser. They came out and they just threw it around. They, played with ingenuity and creativity, and they were good value. And then in this game, they were very immature. And I think it was, for me at least, it was summarized by the moment that they had the ball in the ascendancy, they were running in for a try. They had a man or two-man overlap. They go to pass out wide. Beauden Barrett taps the ball down, and they get a yellow card. They're in the 22. They get a yellow card. So they're, the opposition are a man down. They're frazzled. They should have gone for the jugular, gone for the corner, mauled, scrummed, drawn in all the defense, made the exploit the man out wide, score in the corner if they need to, but go for the try, and they go for the 3 points.
Yeah.
And then they go for the 3 points, they get the 3 points, Kiwis get the ball, kick off, start again, go the other end, get into the corner, get a penalty, go for the corner, and then they score a try, and it's for the French, it was a 2-point net loss.
Yeah.
And it's that's just immature.
Well, I mean, there's two arguments to this. You're right. They did play immature rugby at times, but it is a young, inexperienced, call them immature French side that Galtier picked.
But this is my point. It showed that this weekend.
No, I know. But there's two trains of thoughts here. Is one, Galtier is building that depth that we spoke about last week. He's building a squad of 50-plus players. He's doing what Rassie's doing. And he wants to give these guys exposure. And what better sort of taste than the All Blacks down in New Zealand. But now I saw that Justin Marshall and the boys at the Good, the Bad and the Rugby, they made the comment to say for France to win the World Cup and be competitive at the World Cup, they need to send their best players to New Zealand and be competitive and win a test and prove that, to build that sort of self-belief within the squad. So, I mean, the proof is going to be in the pudding. It was tactical by Galtier. The top 14 season is too long. It's the only reason why we don't have a global season. It's because of the French domestic league.
You've said this before.
I think we can make a global season work, but because of the length of their season, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he on purpose picked an inexperienced side, but we'll have to see how they're going to play against the Boks at the end of the year and how they're going to fare in 2027.
I thought Geordie Barrett had an outstanding game. Maybe under sun, but his link-up game was off the Richter. Some of those passes out wide, really quick through the hands. His defense, his He was outstanding.
So I've been saying this for many years. Since they started picking up at inside centre, I said that's Geordie's best position. You famously picked him in your all-time All Black dream team.
I love Geordie.
Ahead of Nonu, and you got a lot of flack. Do you feel vindicated yet in that selection?
I really do. And you know what? I stand by my selection back then. Geordie is a more complete player. Look, Nonu is a great player in his own right.
He got a contract extension for another season at Toulon.
Get in there.
43.
43 years old, still going.
Still playing.
He is,
Love it.
without doubt, one of the best players of all time in his position. Why I love Geordie over Ma is because he gives you so much more.
He's a little bit more versatile.
He
absolutely.
is versatile.
Yeah.
He's got the kicking ability. He's got he can interchange. You can play him in different positions. He's good in defense. He's good in attack. But this week in particular, I think he played a really good connect game. And 3 things that you can count on in your life: death, taxes,
and Will Jordan
scoring
a try. Unbelievable strike rate.
100%.
I mean, the man is on fire.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, you'll see it with all Black top try scorers. If they get into their 40s, their careers just stop because now All Black has scored more than 50 tries. I think Dougie Howlett still holds the record at 49.
Your man's going to smash
it. I think Brian Abana's record is in trouble.
Yeah.
The way Will Jordan's going.
He's going to smash it.
Absolutely. So good win for the ABs. It'll be a 3-0 whitewash, but let's see if France can redeem themselves. Let's move on to Australia. The British and Irish Lions in action against the combined AUNZ side, which the last time they played was in 1989, and there's they've been coached by Les Kiss this time around, who's going to be the Aussie coach in future. He said that this fixture needs to remain part of a British and Irish Lions tour, but it did honestly feel like a little bit of a waste of time. I think they could have, I don't know, maybe did a combined Super 12 team or something, or a Australian A side to put up a little bit more of a test for the Lions, because they were cruising. Some good displays by the Lions, most notably Duan on the wing. I said last week, I think Duan's playing himself out of the test side. It's going to be interesting to see if they pull him back in. I don't think the 3 tries against weak opposition makes up for his defensive frailties. Like Duan under the high ball that's an issue. I still think they're going to pick James Lowe on the wing, but it purely depends on what type of game Farrell wants them to play in the first test. And then the other notable thing from that game, Matt, before I hand over to you, was the frosty reception for Owen Farrell.
Yeah, so that was the reception, but I think your man stood up. For my mind, he just looked like he had a pretty complete game. I was happy with it.
You've been a Faz fan since the beginning. You wanted him as part of this tour. I think he could have had a quiet game, Matt, and you would have raved about him. Look, he brings a lot of composure to the side.
But he looked like when he came onto the field, he brought composure.
Absolutely. I mean, he's so experienced. He's played over 100 tests. He's top point scorer for England. He's got all the credentials. It's a very tricky thing when your dad is the coach.
Of course.
You will always get accused of nepotism. Look, the issue here is that he was selected as a substitute for Daly, and people feel it wasn't a like-for-like substitute, right? It doesn't bring that versatility in the back three and the midfield that Daly does, which I totally get. But I think his composure and his experience that he brings to the squad in general will hopefully have a calming impact on that team. I don't think he makes the 23 for the first test. We'll see who gets picked this week. There's no midweek game, but I'm already salivating at that first test. Australia's got to lift their game. They struggle against Fiji, so it's going to be interesting that they picked. James O'Connor is back in the Australian squad.
Fair play, Sam. Went down to Christchurch, earned a recall.
Yeah, and apparently he missed the call from Joe Schmidt, and he ran into the team somewhere applying for his visa or something, and he just went over to say hi to the boys, and Joe Schmidt's like, I've been trying to get hold of you. You're in the squad, mate. And he couldn't believe it. So great story for James O'Connor. He might even start. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts, because he was decent for the Crusaders in the Super Rugby Championship, and he's only the third Australian that's going to play 2 Lions series, 12 years apart.
Personally, I'd keep him on the bench. He's done well for the Crusaders from the bench.
But then who do you pick at fly-off?
That's a good question.
Donaldson, probably. They'll go with Donaldson
Yeah.
if Lolosio is injured.
Jack Morgan and Ben Earl, I thought were off the
Mate,
Richter.
if I think Jack Morgan is, if he hasn't answered those questions around the blindside flank position, he is a shoo-in for the first test. I'll pick him ahead of Curry, all of the other boys in the
100%.
squad. He has to start.
He has earned the right to say that's
He's
my
been
shirt.
the most impressive forward on tour so far. I'm excited about it. Let's please make a plan to watch it together because it's a
100%.
once in a generation.
Bryce and Brandy.
Yeah, we'll start the Bryce early. Let's get to the main event, Matt. Lots to talk about on the Booker game. Like I said with the New Zealand game, expect a backlash, and the Boks produced. Just a couple of things from my end. It was a chaotic game. Like, things went wrong. We saw stuff that we never saw before. We saw a lot of innovation from the Boks with the line out in the middle of the field.
On that though, shout out to the Paul Roos under 14B team who did that for the first time. I hope I'm saying this correctly, but under 14Bs, they did it in the game. Rassie saw this and was like, we can use that.
That could work, yeah. I mean, is it necessary to create a line out? Because we saw something similar in the 2019 World Cup final where we just set up a maul. No need to lift a player. But again, in both occasions, it worked because we scored from both those moves in different ways.
Well, let's just analyze this quickly. So the player is lifted. You can't take a player out in the air.
Which they did both times. They
which is
collapsed
why
the ball,
is why we got the penalty, right? So you can't take the player out in the air. The moment the player lands, the maul is set. You can't sack the maul. And so what happened was, in both of those instances, it created a penalty effect for us because either they take him out in the air or the moment it sets, they go to ground, which happened, and then we scored off the back of it. But had we not scored, we would have had a penalty.
We got the advantage, but I don't think that was the benefit from calling those moves. I think what it did do is it caused confusion in Argentina's defense, because especially with Kane and Moody's try, you could see it. They were like, we don't really know what to do. The defense shut up. Grant Williams read it well, created the space to put Kane in the gap, and he scored. I think the confusion is what won us those tries. Can we just
talk about Kane and Moody's try?
It was a thing of beauty.
It was unbelievable.
Like, his determination to get to that try line. You could see that those centres felt that they had a point to prove, and I think they both stood up. Like, Andre Esterhuizen had an awesome game. He was a legend on the field. But Kane, he doesn't get a lot of opportunities in the Bok team. He's played 13 tests. He's won 13 tests. I don't care what happens. I saw it on the Marky O'Hain and Zellum Nell show this morning. They both said, doesn't matter what happens, play him against the All Blacks at Eden Park in September, because he doesn't seem to lose any tests. So he's got a great record.
The boy is, like, he's young, he's enthusiastic, he's fit and strong and powerful. But the moment that ball got into his hands, he was running a great line, right? And then you could just tell he was like, I'm going to steamroll all you buggers.
Before we get to the tries and everything else that happened in the game, let's go back to the beginning. So everyone on social media is up in arms. What's really interesting is how people don't really understand the laws. We don't have rules in rugby, we have laws. A lot of people said, it's got to be a penalty. It was in front of the kicker. Well, mate, you don't know your rules, because often in rugby, the ref will call for a scrum when he sees the forwards are ahead of the kicker,
in front of the kicker,
from a kickoff, right? Everyone knows there's no penalty from a kickoff. Will that change? It wouldn't surprise me. Like, World Rugby outlawed a scrum from a free kick inside your own 22 after the World Cup final in 2023. I had no issue with it, right? I have no issue with it, because rugby is a competitive sport. You play to win. If you have a strong scrum and you feel you can dominate the opposition, any opportunity you can have to scrum and exert your dominance and show them very early on, we're here to play, why not? We don't know what happened in the toss. It was a deliberate move. People say it's against the spirit of the game. I don't think so, but maybe I'm biased again because we're Boks supporters. But I see no issue with it. If it was against the spirit of the game, it wouldn't, the laws would cater for it and say, you're not allowed to force a scrum from a kickoff. But it doesn't say that anywhere. So again, it's just Rassie and his management team pushing the boundaries
Doing Rassie
of what
things.
is acceptable, seeing if it works. Okay, the scrum ultimately didn't work out in our favor. We were a little bit over eager and pushed too early. So what? I still have no issue with them starting a game that way. I thought it was, quite exciting.
I thought the ref was a little biased in his resulting penalty for them.
It seemed like he felt like he needed to rectify that situation.
In the moment, I thought there wasn't really much happening there. Everyone in industry everywhere is talking about like disruption, AI, technologies, etc. How are we disrupting what we're doing? And Rassie, fair play to him, is disrupting everything. He's looking at how things are done normally and going, but how can we do it differently? How can we do it differently? How can we do it better? And this weekend, right or wrong, in your opinion, was him trying something new.
Yeah.
And so it didn't come off for them. They didn't get the result they wanted.
It doesn't matter.
But fair play.
Ultimately, I would be surprised if we see it again. Maybe it's something Rassie said, let's try it. Let's see if we, if getting a scrum from the kickoff has any sort of impact. Maybe we don't try it again.
I love that Rassie tries new things, because I think a lot of the time we can be quite static. We can be quite generic in rugby. You watch a lot of the rugby these days where it seems first phase, second phase, third phase, line comes in, breakdown. Like, it seems very just vanilla, I want to say. There's a lot of the rugby games that I watch these days, and you think, yo, where's the ingenuity? Where's the innovation? Where's the creativity? And then yet, when someone like Rassie comes along and goes, we're going to try something
It's
new.
not in the spirit of the game.
It's not in the spirit of the game. You're doing, and it's like, hold on, where's the balance here? Where you naysayers go and sit in your corner and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, they can shut the fuck up. The John Kerwins of the world have accused us for many, many years of being very, what's the word?
Diabolical.
Predictable, very predictable. Let me tell you something.
went with the word.
There's nothing predictable about the Springbok side. And one of Rassie's biggest innovations is not on the field, it's off the field, because he's the only international coach that has employed an ex-international referee as part of his coaching panel. So Jaco Peyper is a coach, is part of the management team. And all of these things that they try, the line out in the middle of the field and open play, the kickoff, he would have consulted Peyper and he would have said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. You can do it. The same way you can call a scrum from a free kick in your own 22. No one does it, but nothing's stopping you from doing it. And I say, you know what, great. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, great. Then you try it and you move on. Rassie's going to come up with something else.
Let's talk about the game itself. 7 tries in total from the Springboks. 45-0 scoreline. We played with 14 men for a lot of the game. We played for 13 men for some of the game. Wilco Low, I thought, was outstanding, but unfortunate to get his yellow card.
Yeah, it was unlucky.
I thought he was a little bit more industrious in the game. Maybe he watched our show from last week.
He did carry the ball a lot stronger with a lot more vigor than he did. Yeah,
a lot stronger this week. I thought the props played exceptionally well. Thomas Dutoy was great for his 29 minutes. Unfortunate that he went off, but then he went off and Oxencheck comes up.
But in saying that, Thomas did not go off because of anything that he did on the field. It was 100% a result of Jasper's red card, which we'll get to now, where Rassie just felt, because Thomas is a hybrid, he can play both sides of the scrum. Let's get a recognized loose-head prop who is the best scrummer in the world to at least bring parity in the scrum with Jasper off, right? If we have to scrum with 7 men, who are you going to back at loosehead? You're going to back Ox.
Yeah, 100%.
So it had nothing to do with Thomas's play. It was more as a result of Jasper leaving the field.
And Ox comes on and just solidifies and dominates for the rest of the game.
First scrums the Italians into the ground.
Yeah.
Frees up all that space. Edwil van der Merwe runs through and scores under the post.
We'll get to him in a minute. But I just want to go through player by player. So, second row, I thought Ruan Nakia had a great game.
I think I made some notes. Like, there's winners and losers from this game. Ruan Nakia proved to me, and he did that last year against the All Blacks, but he proved again that he's an international quality lock.
100%.
And because he stole so many balls on the opposition's throw. The loser for me, I'd love to hear your opinion. but I don't think Salman Murat is an international level lock. I know it's very harsh because it's one game, but the couple of tests that he has played, I don't think he brings that grunt that a Eben or a RG Snyman or someone brings to the pack. And when he does bring that aggression, it's not calculated because he gave away 4 penalties.
So
and all at the ruck, coming in from the side, going off his feet, like he needs to find that balance between aggression and control to make an impact. And I just didn't see it. I just don't see it from Murat.
there was a moment where the camera pans across and there's Eben, there's Achia, and there's Lut sitting there watching the boys. And I thought to myself at the time, Ruan is stepping up into that sphere.
He can fill that.
He can play in and amongst those boys. I mean, those 3 are world class, if not the best in the world right now. Those 3 together. And then Salman was just I know he was captain on the day, but for me at least, I didn't see any standout event activity. He was nowhere.
I think his captaincy was decent. Like he communicated well with the ref and he challenged the ref's calls, and he always made sure that he understood exactly where he was with the ref. I think he managed that relationship quite well. But apart from that, I mean, we always say that your captain's got to be one of the first players down on the team sheet on form.
Yeah.
If we had to pick 33 players to go to a World Cup today, he wouldn't be in it. No.
So he wouldn't be in it for me. There was nothing outstanding that he did that would circumnavigate the other 4 that we just described.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I thought Peter Steff had a really good game in that he was solid, reliable, didn't set the world alight, game back in, and was about the place.
Mate, sorry, just quickly on Peter Steff.
Yeah.
He just came back from an injury. He was out for a couple of months.
This is my point.
And to play 82 minutes, I mean, the engine on that guy is just unreal.
But we've never, ever doubted that.
Yeah.
Like, the engine on Peter Steff has always been his significant factor. He will run through brick walls for eternity if that's what you put him to. So he did a very Peter Steff thing and had a great game, right? But in Peter Steff terms, I don't think it was set the world alight. He just had a great game, right? Which in itself, compared to everyone else, probably is outstanding. I think the person who was standout in the forwards was Marco.
I totally agree.
Marco Verstappen.
He had an awesome game.
Marco Verstappen was, and we'll get to Jasper in a minute, but Marco Verstappen was unbelievable. He was about the place. He was at every breakdown. He was busy. He was in everyone's faces, but he was in not in an aggressive way. He was just everywhere. Like, I loved it.
No, he had a great game. I totally second that. He was one of my standout winners of the weekend. Like, he stepped up. Peter Steff stepped up when Jasper went off. Let's talk about Jasper. Controversial red card. I think in the game when I saw it, I'm like, that's not a red. Yellow card, yes. Did he hit him with force? Trust me, if Jasper Wiese hits you with force on the nose, you'll be off the field, right? I do think Italy milked it a little bit.
Of course.
In saying that, in today's game, you know that the refs are going to blow you for that, right?
Yeah.
So it is a mistake on Jasper's end, but I do think red was harsh, and now I see World Rugby is going to come down with full force, and they want to ban him also for a game or two. I don't know. He's going to be sanctioned. And I just thought, looking at that 10 years ago, the ref would have said, okay, just handbags, take the penalty, or we reverse the penalty and watch it. But in today's game, which has gone a little bit soft, not that I'm saying that is acceptable in the game, but, back in the day, people would have just said, they're just sorting each other out, let's get on with it. And now suddenly, and Jasper leaving, you could actually see the rhythm going out of the Springboks. That accuracy that we wanted, which were there at times, but it had a big impact on the game, which I think was unnecessary.
It did have a big impact on the game. I think it was unnecessary, like you say. I do think that he could have showed a more mature head. Like, he's been around for a while. And
he should know better.
Don't get me wrong. I love the grit. I love the aggression. I love the niggle. I love that my eighth man is willing. Like Eben sometimes will get in. I want my boys to be like, we're not going to take a step back.
But you can intimidate the opposition without hitting them with the head. I think that's the mistake. That's where he dipped his toe across the line.
Yeah, of course. He dipped his toe. By your analogy, he dipped his toe across the line. Dipping your toe does not mean you stabbed someone.
I know, but in today's game, which has gone a little bit soft, you will always get penalised for that. I think it was a harsh sanction.
Penalised? Fine. Straight red card.
I think that was harsh, mate.
I think it was
harsh.
Like, genuinely, I think that was harsh. Like, at the end of the day,
you gave him the old Liverpool kiss, and there was not much in it. Like, there was a little bit of a peck on the cheek.
Like, at the end of the day, if there was malice and intent and aggression, your man was just looking at him going, if you say... Like, he was having a word in close quarters. And then what happens
Well, he got agitated and he fell for it. That's exactly what happened. He stepped into that trap.
Fair play. Like, at the end of the day, by the rule of the law, but I do think there needed to be some sense, and there wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, he goes off. Nevertheless, Evan Lewis comes on. I thought Evan Lewis played well.
Decent game. Yeah, it was industrious again. I'm glad he got an opportunity as part of Rassie's team. We'll see. I mean, what happens
because
to
of the
Jasper?
scrutiny that's been on there.
Exactly.
Between their relationship.
He'll probably start this weekend against Georgia. We'll see what happens at number 8. But good to see Evan get some game time. In the back line, I think Rassie got some answers, hopefully, in this test. Like, we've been debating who the best scrum off in South Africa is, because
Number 9.
You've got Krappies van der Berg coming through. Faf is back in the mix. Kobus Reinach has been there for ages now. He's still part of the mix. But I think the guy that put down the marker is Grant Williams. Mate, the way he...
I agree with you 100%.
Last year we criticised him and said he's too eager and he plays too quickly and sometimes he makes the wrong decision. You can actually see that player turning into a more mature player, like his decision making,
his composure,
just his composure, like not playing quick enough and getting quick ball out to the backs, but allowing himself that second or two to make the right decision.
Which you need.
Which you can see in Moody's trial, right? The way he read that defence.
He just waited.
And just waited before he gave the ball and gave it in space and we scored. I think Williams is our man. He's the best scrum off currently that we have.
I was going to say, for me, he's the one that's put his hand up and gone, that's my shirt.
I think so.
I think he is our best 9. And don't get me wrong, I think all the other ones that we just described are great 9s.
It's really difficult because we've got so much depth, and then you've even got guys like Jaden Hendricks, who's not part of the squad. You've got Embrose Papier, who's been knocking on the door and playing great for the Bulls. There's Paul de Vet. There's so many, like, you can probably pick from 10 scrum offs in South Africa currently.
But I think Grant, you're our guy.
You're the guy.
You're our number 9, and we back you. So well played. And I want to get to Mani. His ability to run the ball, hit the line, and his delivery outside, he brought his team in very, very nicely.
In a game, like he showed it against Argentina last year in Nelspruit, he showed it again on the weekend. In a game against, I don't want to say lesser opposition because I don't want to take anything away from Italy, but this wasn't the All Blacks, this wasn't the Lions, this wasn't the French, this wasn't Ireland. In a game where the forwards will dominate, and he has that space to attack from, he's absolutely brilliant. And I'll be the first to admit that Mani had a really good game. Will I pick him in a World Cup final against France or Ireland or the All Blacks? No, I still won't. Because I think a lot of the pressure was off. Rassie's taken a lot of that pressure off and said, I'm going to back you either way. You're part of the squad. Doesn't matter what the naysayers like me says about him. I'm going to pick you. I'm going to back you. So you've got the backing of the coaches. You're playing against Italy in PE, where we've always had a decent record. You've got a great pack that dominates, and he's got that confidence to perform. But in the tough moments, in the tough games, we need to grind out a win and kick a penalty from halfway. I still don't think he's the long-term answer. I think it's between... I think Sasha will go into 2027 as the first choice fly-off, and they'll probably have Pollard on the bench, and Andre Esterhuizen will have sort of a hybrid role, playing both, covering both forward and back, depending on what happens on the field. I think that's the next evolution of the bomb squad.
Yeah.
I don't think Mani will feature. I don't think he should feature in the knockout stages of a World Cup.
That being said, and I agree with you actually, but that being said, I do think that he had a great game this weekend.
Absolutely. I give him all the credit. He had a fantastic game.
his passing and his delivery and bringing boys into space and hitting the line well was outstanding. So fair play here. And he kicked 5 from 5, I think. 5 from 7. 5 from 7.
I mean, he recovered well from those first 2 misses, and then he kicked 5 from 5.
5 from 7. Yeah. So he had. We talked about the centers, who had a great game, both of them, right? I thought Ethan Hooker coming in at centre.
He looked very comfortable in international rugby. Like he belonged there.
And he played so well. And I love him, not because he's a Sharks boy, maybe just a little bit, but because I picked him to be a Springbok before.
You did call it.
He's going to be one for the future. He's just he reminds me of a Conrad Smith.
Yeah, very much so. And Rassie did say they believe he's a 13. That's his best position.
Yeah. On the wings, Edwill comes in and he's had 1 test appearance and then comes in and scores 2 tries.
Plays 2 tests, 13 months apart, man of the match in both, 3 tries from 2 tests.
What a champion.
I think he's almost 30 now. He's 29 or 30 years old, so he made his debut really late. What an absolute legend. And I mean, look, he's not going to take the 14 jersey from Cheslin. Cheslin's the best player on the planet currently. But it's reassuring for Rassie to know that you've got another scrum-capped warrior waiting in the wings, that if something should happen to Cheslin, may that never ever happen, that you've got the likes of Edwill that can come through. I've always rated him. I'm glad he got a second bite at the apple. And he did so well. He was arguably one of the best players, 2-3 players on the field on Saturday.
Yeah. And then on the other side of the wing, my pimps, like we talk about Will Jordan, death taxes and Will Jordan scoring from a South African perspective, my pimpy being on the pitch and getting a try. There is no one, absolutely no one in South African history that has a better return on investment rate than your man. He does it.
You wanna dude, Kurtley Arendse and Donnie Gerber both have a better strike rate.
Do you want to check that?
Yes, and we can check that. And I promise you, Mapimpi has scored 33 tries from 47 tests. Gerber scored 19 from 24. Arendse scored 18 from 24.
That's not what the internet said to me on the week.
He trusts ChatGPT. I keep telling him don't trust what AI tells you. But Mapimpi is now...
AI is supposed to free us. It never does.
It doesn't. Not when you come up against me.
All that set aside, Mapimpi has an outstanding return.
No, he does. And I thought he had quite a quiet game, but he in the second half, he got stuck in more. He was looking for the ball more, and he got his try. He's now the third highest try scorer in South African history, behind the great Joost van der Westhuizen and Brian Abana, and he deserves to be up there. And hopefully he gets to 50 tests. I don't think he'll get to 100 because he's already in his 30s.
And he should get to 50. In comparison to both of them, I think they're both 1 and 2, and he's almost 1 and 1.
Yeah.
Like your man, in terms of tries per game, return ratio.
He's got a great strike rate.
Yeah,
still not the best.
Okay.
Okay. Who else stood out in the Springbok side? Willie at fullback in his 100 tests.
I think it'll be remiss of us not to talk about Willie. 100 tests, like what a man, what a player.
Absolute legend. Matt, your dop is leeg, but we'll cheers to...
You can pour a little.
We'll cheers to Willie in any case. Willie, to you. 100 tests, and again, a beautiful story. Like if you listen to what Rassie said about Willie, he was part of the Western Province junior structures when Rassie was still head coach in 2009. Didn't really rate Willie. They released him, told him to go and play for Boland. He did well at Boland, played with Cornel Hendricks there, got an opportunity to go to Griquas and then be part of the Cheetah setup and became a Springbok. And Rassie, to his credit, now admits that he got it wrong. He's like, we had it wrong with Willie because he's just such a standout player, and his game has changed. When he came onto the scene, he was this attacking threat, this try-scoring threat at fullback, played a couple of tests at wing, scored a lot of tries for the Springboks, but as he got older and he lost a bit of pace, he became the playmaker, right?
Yeah.
He would stand at first receiver and create a lot of opportunities. How many tries have we scored, if you look from 2018, 2019, when Rassie became coach, where Willie really constructed those tries, and he was the mastermind. That famous draw that we got against the All Blacks in 2019 when Herschel Yankee scored that last minute try. Watch what Willie does, how he constructs that try out of thin air. Just a fantastic player. I have lots of vivid memories. He scored some beautiful tries for the Springboks and for the Cheetahs,
Sure.
and for the Sharks and for the Bulls. I mean, he's got a fantastic career behind him.
100%. There's been moments in Villy's career, as there has been with every other player in history, where there's been some moments you'd rather forget than remember. And that's the thing, I think, also playing at fullback, the ball under the high ball, every now and again you can spill it, but your man has been consistent. 100, he's number 9.
Number 8.
Yeah. Number 8 of the Springboks, who now have 100 tests behind their name. And I love the way that he's been positioned as a mentor to the youngsters coming in the position. And he's just offloading all that knowledge and that experience. He's just been outstanding.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. It's going to be interesting to see what his role is going to be going forward. I don't think we've seen the last of Villy. I don't think Rassie will discard him. I don't think he makes it to the next World Cup, but I think he's got a significant role to play in helping Damian Willemse and Fassi develop, because those two guys are going to be our fullbacks going into the next World Cup. So we're looking forward to the next tests before there's a bit of a break and the Rugby Championship starts. So we'll get together and watch Australia play the Lions on Saturday, and in the afternoon it is the Bokke playing Georgia in Nelspruit. Georgia just came off a loss against the Cheetahs, which I didn't expect, because I quite rate Georgia, but again, I didn't watch the game. I don't know what side they pick. I just want to see Niniashvili in action. He's my favorite fullback currently in World Rugby. I love the Georgians. I think what they've done with their rugby since becoming a union in 1990. I mean, they qualified for the World Cup in 13 years since becoming a rugby union. I love the Lilus, and I want them to do well. It's going to be interesting to see who Rassie picks. I expect at least 14 changes from the starting lineup, given the depth in the squad. Hopefully Sia's back, but let's see how the Bokke go and make it 4 from 4 before the Rugby Championship.
Hopefully Georgia can have a good going before your trip to Georgia, because that might make it difficult for you.
Yeah, I'm going to Georgia in August. It's going to be interesting.
Your man might go and then never come back.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Anyway,
I have to come back.
No, they might not let you.
Maybe not. And can we just give another cheers to Wales? Finally won a game. Well done, boys. Okay, it's against Japan, but again, they did well because they lost last week. Hopefully onward and upward from here for Wales. We want to see them back in the top 6 at least in World Rugby. They've got a long way to go to get there, because before this weekend's game they dropped down to 14th.
I know.
Which is just unacceptable. But hopefully it's the first of many more victories for Wales.
Correct.
But against England and Ireland and Scotland, not against the Springboks.
Jake White's available.
Well, we'll see how they go with their interim coach, and if they're going to appoint someone else.
Correct.
Okay, looking forward to this weekend. Thanks for sticking around. This has been a long show. We'll do this again next week. Cheers.